Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast Special Edition Series, the 2023-24 College Basketball Predictions. Now up is the Big East. Full of storylines in the Big East, of course. A lot of talent, top-heavy league. A lot of turnover in this league over the past not even half decade. So, without further ado, here we go. So, in first place I have is the Creighton Blue Jays. Creighton has the most talent in this league. They have a great coach in Greg McDermott, Trey Alexander, Baylor Shielman, Ryan Kalbrenner. They're loaded with veterans and guys that have been there and done that. They had a really nice year last year with doing very well in the Big East and were a 16 in the tournament, but I think that they're going to win this league this season. Coming in second, I have Marquette, the Golden Eagles of Marquette. This is another really good veteran latent team. Tyler Kolek, Cam Jones, also Agardo. And I really think that Shaka Smart has done an outstanding job with this team, and good on him for bailing from Texas, because you know that he would have been hot seat going into that next season after they lost Abilene Christian in the tournament. And he found a home in Marquette, and he's doing an outstanding job with recruiting and coaching this team. So it's Creighton versus Marquette for the Big East title. I decided to go Creighton because I think they are a better team, although they're neck and neck. Coming in third in the league, I have your reigning champion UConn Huskies. UConn is a good team. They can absolutely win the league, but they lose too many guys from their title-winning team in Andre Jackson and the lottery pick Jordan Hawkins, and the big guy they lost to, Adama Sanogo. He was their team captain with Jackson, so Dan Hurley's relying on a lot of young guys. Stephon Castle, the freshman, Donovan Clingan, the center, and then Alex Caravan as well. So that was a very interesting thing for UConn with relying on the young guys, and then all their guys leave because they go on that run. So I think they take a little bit of a step back in the regular season. Fourth, I have the Villanova Wildcats. I think they bounce back. Kyle Neptune's going to have his boys ready to go. Justin Moore's back for a full season as a grad player. Eric Dixon's still there. They're not the Villanova of old, but they're a team that will certainly bounce back from a disappointing year from last year. In fifth in the conference, I have the St. John's Red Storm. Rick Pitino comes in. I think that he'll do great things. They have some transfers and some guys coming in that are young. Joel Soriano's still there, the senior big. So I really think St. John's is going to make it in year one under Pitino. Some people don't think so. They're a borderline top 25 team as well with some of the talent they have, and they're in a really good league as well. Coming in sixth, I have Providence. So Providence, they lose Ed Cooley to Georgetown, which is brutal. Kim English comes in. He used to coach George Mason. Now he's at Providence. So, he's under some pressure to do well. He has some good players. Bryce Hopkins and Devin Carter. I do think that there's a possibility they make the tournament. I think they're an NIT team most likely. Coming in 7th, I have Xavier. Xavier is very, very up and down by the year. Sean Miller, in his second tenure, they are a team that gets Zach Fremantle back, which is a big deal for them. I think they'll be competitive. 8th, I have Seton Hall, year 2 under Shaheem Holloway. They just don't have a lot of talent to work with. And I think this is a rebuild for Shaheem. And it's going to be a while before they're where they were with Kevin Willard. 9th, I have Georgetown. Ed Cooley comes in after the Patrick Ewing error ended. God, Patrick Ewing was just a terrible coach. I'm sorry. Oh, my God. And I love Pat Ewing, but he was just a really bad college basketball coach. Him and Chris Mullen were just so bad with Georgetown and St. John's, respectively. St. John's moved quickly, but they took a while. And I know Georgetown made the tournament with Ewing one year, but they did that because they made the tournament because they won the Big East tournament, and they were an auto bid. But yeah, a lot of turnover with that roster for Ed Cooley. Next up, in 10th, I have Butler. Butler is a team that's kind of retooling too. Thad Matta's back there. He has a lot of work to do at that job. And then at the bottom is DePaul. DePaul is back to being lousy DePaul. Tony Stubfield's in year 3. Yeah, it's just they just don't have any guys. And that really, but Elijah Fisher's still there for DePaul, so at least they got that going for them. So awards and whatnot. Player of the year, I have Ryan Kalbrunner of Creighton. There's a lot of guys that are going to be up for the Big East Player of the Year. You have him. You have Zach Fremantle at Xavier, Justin Moore at Villanova, Bryce Hopkins at Providence, Tyler Kolek at Marquette, who was the preseason Player of the Year, even Joel Soriano at St. John's, and even Oso Ighodaro of Marquette, and Trey Alexander and Baylor Sheeman of Creighton. So I think the Big East Player of the Year race is wide open. There's a ton of great guys in the Big East, but I decided to go with Kalbrunner of Creighton for this honor. Coach of the Year, I'm going to go with Rick Pitino at St. John's. I think that they're going to be in the tournament with him in year 1, and the narrative, the whole deal. He's going to be in play for the National Coach of the Year, too, I think. I love Rick, and I think him back in the Garden is a big deal. And I think that the St. John's fan base is going to be fired up. And I think that Pitino will get the credit for it. Freshman of the year goes Stephon Castle of UConn. He's going to be heavily relied on replacing Andre Jackson. And I think that he's going to make the most of his opportunity. All right, teams I have in the tournament. Creighton, Marquette, UConn, Villanova, St. John's. Providence, I think, will be a 1 seed in the NIT. I think Xavier will be in the NIT as well. Seton Hall will be close to the NIT, but I don't think they get there. Georgetown, I could see them showing some promise with Cooley and potentially playing an upset or two in Big East play. Butler and DePaul are going to be a while. All right, bold prediction for this league. I've been all over St. John's, of course, and Rick Pitino. And I am going to say that my prediction for the Big East is that St. John's is going to literally dominate storylines. They'll get some big signature wins, especially at the Garden. They play Michigan at the Garden, I believe, this month, and Michigan's down from what it's been in years past. And I think they're going to become an event, and I think that they're going to be talked about on local radio more because of Rick, and I think that Soriano will be in the mix for the Big East Player of the Year, too. So, St. John's is back. That's my Big East bold prediction. And I think they're obviously going to be the most improved team in the conference. I think Villanova will bounce back. Team that I think is going to go back a little or take a step backwards, I'm going to say, is Xavier. I understand Sean Miller's there, and he's a really good coach, but I think that's a team that takes a step back this season. Coach on the hottest seat. I mean, let's be honest. DePaul changes coaches like every 3 years, so it has to be Tony Stubfield. It has to be. Because no way it's McDermott. He's been there forever. Shaka Smart is going to be at Marquette for a while, you would think. I mean, if Villanova disappoints again, I think there's going to be some talk about Neptune, but I don't think it'll go that far. So, to me, the guy on the hottest seat right now in the Big East has to be Stubblefield of DePaul. I'm not predicting he gets fired, but to me, that's the coach on the hottest seat. Ewing theory, the obvious one would be the UConn guys, Hawkins and Jackson, leaving. So that's like the big Ewing theory there. Other potential Ewing theory, I could see it potentially being Colby Jones of Xavier. So there's a couple of guys that I could see. Ryan Nemhard, maybe of Creighton. That's a good one for Ewing theory in the Big East. Okay, so futures. So Big East. Marquette plus 260, Creighton plus 270, UConn 3-1, Villanova 550, St. John's 12-1, Xavier's 20, Providence 20, Georgetown 75, Butler 140, DePaul 250. St. John's 12-1 as the most value. I mean, Villanova as the ultimate bounce back team plus 550 is a good one too. But Marquette and Creighton right there for sure. And another one is Providence at 20-1 with Carter and Hopkins back, although they do have a new coach, which is a big question mark, obviously. But I think the most value is either St. John's at 20-1, which would be my value pick, or Providence at 20-1 to win the Big East. So, that is obviously very interesting. So there you have it for the 2023-24 Big East show. Next up will be the Big Ten.